The rumors about Jimin and Jungkook have never really died down. Every small gesture, every fleeting glance, even a momentary pause between them always manages to spark a wave of discussion among ARMY. But this time, what caused a stir wasn't just the same old speculation being rehashed. It was a new claim coming from a Korean woman that immediately silenced the fandom and then exploded. It all started with a post that initially seemed ordinary. No big names, no well-known gossip accounts, and no mainstream media. But that's precisely where the surprise lay. The post was written in natural Korean, without overdramatization, as if the writer were simply sharing something that was already known in certain circles. She didn't mention explicit details, didn't claim to be a HYB insider, but her sentence was enough to make many people stop and reread. He stated that the relationship between Jimin and Jungkook wasn't just about the members' closeness, nor was it exaggerated fan service. According to him, what was seen in public was only the outer layer of a much more serious and stable relationship. That statement alone was enough to make ARMYs hold their breath. What made this post even more noteworthy was the way it was delivered. There was no sensationalist tone. There was no demand for it to go viral. In fact, the account was inactive after the post became widely discussed. Many wondered, if this was just a hoax, why was he so calm? Why not capitalize on the sudden attention? Since then, snippets of old moments with Jimin have resurfaced. Not big moments on stage, but small things that were often overlooked in the past. The way Jungkook instinctively sought out Jimin in a crowd. The way Jimin comforted Jungkook without words. The synchronization of their emotions that felt too natural to be mere coincidence. Some fans even highlighted how their dynamic had changed in recent years. Where once they were full of energy and laughter, now they felt calmer, deeper. There's a sense of home between them, something hard to explain, but easy to feel. And for many, this is what makes the Korean woman's claim seem possible. But of course, not everyone is immediately convinced. Some point out that BTS is a very close group, that Jimin and Jungkook grew up together from a very young age, endured incredible pressure, and it's natural for their bond to be strong. Interestingly, even skeptics admit one thing: Jikook's closeness is indeed different. The debate rages. Are we witnessing a relationship deliberately hidden for privacy? Or is this simply a projection of deeply held fan feelings? Amidst all this, one undeniable fact remains: Jimin and Jungkook always seem most comfortable together. What's also interesting is that to date, there has been no strong denial, no direct clarification, or any attempt to set the record straight on the issue. And in the world of K-pop, silence often speaks louder than official statements. Does that mean something is being protected? Or is it simply because the rumors are deemed unworthy of response? The Korean woman may not have provided concrete evidence. He also didn't force anyone to believe. But his one post managed to reopen an old discussion with a new perspective, more mature, quieter, and more real. Ultimately, whether or not Jikook is truly in a serious relationship is something only they know. As fans, all we can do is observe, feel, and respect boundaries. But one thing is certain: whatever their relationship is, the bond between Jimin and Jungkook is something rare, and that's what makes it so captivating. And perhaps that's why one simple post from a Korean woman can shake an entire fandom. The silence following the post became prime fuel for speculation. Within hours, unofficial translations began circulating. International ARMYs tried to decipher every word, every choice of sentence, even the punctuation used by the Korean woman. Many noticed one interesting thing: she didn't use cheap gossip language. There were no, they said. No, I heard from a friend. Her sentences were well structured, as if she were conveying something she had been holding back for a long time. Some Korean netizens even commented that her language style sounded like that of a cautious adult, not an attention-hungry teenager. This led some to ask, is she someone who truly lives in certain circles? or at least someone accustomed to seeing the realities of the Korean entertainment industry up close. The discussion shifted. It was no longer about "is this true?" but rather "why now?" Why were claims like this emerging at a time when Jimin and Jungkook appeared calmer, more reserved, and rarely displayed excessive interaction in front of the camera? Some fans called this phase the silent maturity phase, when a relationship no longer needed public validation. Looking back, a pattern is hard to ignore. In recent years, Jimin and Jungkook have often been seen there for each other in the most crucial moments, yet barely in the spotlight. Not dramatic hugs on big stages, but rather a quiet presence behind the scenes. Sitting side by side without much conversation. Brief, knowing glances. Small gestures understood only by the two of them. Many say that truly serious relationships often appear the most ordinary on the surface. The Korean woman also mentioned something that left many speechless, that this kind of relationship is not uncommon in the Korean entertainment industry, but it rarely lasts long due to the pressure. This statement sparked a long discussion. Was she implying that Jimin and Jungkook had overcome that pressure? That what they had was strong enough to protect, not flaunt? Of course, there were also those who felt uncomfortable. They reminded fans not to overstep boundaries, not to make claims about idols' private lives without proof. And those concerns were valid. But interestingly, many ARMY responded differently than usual. Instead of aggressively attacking or defending, they chose one stance: observing calmly. It's as if there's an unspoken agreement in the fandom. If it's just a rumor, time will tell. If it's real, then privacy is the most basic form of love. What keeps this issue alive isn't just one post, but the emotional resonance it leaves behind. Many fans say they clicked, not because they wanted a sensation, but because they felt the narrative aligned with what they'd always felt, that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship had a depth that was difficult to describe with the word member alone. Amidst all this, Jimin and Jungkook continued their lives as usual. There were no drastic changes, no overreactions. And it's precisely this attitude that raises questions again. Because if something truly means nothing, it's usually straightened out. But if something is valuable, it's often protected by silence. Was the Korean woman telling the truth? Or was she simply voicing what many have long felt? We may never know the answer for sure. But one thing is clear: Jikook's relationship, whatever that definition is, has moved beyond the usual speculation phase and entered deeper, more personal, and more sensitive territory. And perhaps that's why this story doesn't feel like gossip. It feels like a whisper, quiet but hard to forget. Interestingly, after this rumor spread, many ARMYs rewatched old content with a different perspective. Not to look for proof, but to understand the emotions. There are small moments that once seemed ordinary, but now they feel more meaningful. A suppressed smile. The way Jungkook automatically matches his steps to Jimin's.